mai cắt cái đó, mai cắt cái đó được kiểu tít thì cái này, tít thì cái này, hay cái chắc cả mai cắt.
Flooding again lives disrupted. It started with a sound no one wanted to hear, a deep cracking from the valley. Then the dam gave way. All of the water burst forward, swallowing everything in its path. Concrete shattered, steel bent like wire. The river, once calm, became a force no one could stop. In seconds, homes vanished, roads disappeared. The skyline of Beijing blurred behind curtains of rain and rising flood. Sirens wailed, but the water was faster. People ran, climbed, shouted desperate for higher ground. From above, it looked like chaos. From the ground, it felt like the end. And for millions, this was only the beginning of a disaster still unfolding.
Still thick with cloud and rain. Most were grounded. The few that launched couldn't.
The rain had been relentless, day after day. The skies opened, pouring millions of tons of water. Water levels climbed past safety marks. The dam groaned under the weight. Bridges trembled, roads cracked. Cars were lifted and carried away like toys. Within hours, entire districts were submerged. Power grids failed. Communication lines went silent. This wasn't just a flood. It was an invasion of water, mud, and debris. And as the current spread, it left one truth behind. No one was beyond its reach. The first bridge fell with a deafening crack. Steel cables snapped, whipping through the air. Concrete pillars crumbled into the raging water below. Vehicles trapped mid-crossing plunged into the torrent. Some vanished instantly. Others were swept downstream, colliding with debris. Then another bridge gave way, and another. Highways turned into rivers. Tunnels became death traps, filling in minutes. Transport across the region collapsed. No way in, no way out. Supplies halted. Rescue teams stranded. Entire communities cut off as the flood severed their lifelines. It wasn't just infrastructure failing. It was the region's backbone shattered in the space of a single violent afternoon. The city disappeared under a moving siege. Streets turned into rivers, swollen with debris, shops, schools, and homes sank beneath the bloody flood. Buses floated sideways. Power lines hissed and fell. Windows shattered as water forced its way inside. People clung to rooftops, waving frantically for rescue. Some clung to streetlights, their legs submerged in the current. From above, the city looked calm, a still sheet of brown water. But on the ground, it was chaos. Every hour, the water rose higher. Every minute, escape routes vanished. This was no longer a place to live. It was a trap where the flood was closing in on all sides. In the mountains, danger struck without warning. Days of relentless rain had loosened the soil, turning hillsides unstable. Then the earth gave way. A deafening roar echoed through the valleys as entire slopes collapsed. Walls of mud, rock, and uprooted trees tore through villages. Homes vanished in seconds. Roads disappeared under tons of debris. Rescue crews couldn't get through, paths were buried. Bridges gone, helicopters circled, but there was nowhere to land. Each landslide triggered another, a chain reaction of destruction. The mountains, once a place of refuge, had become a deadly trap, and for those in their shadow, there was no safe ground left to stand on. The lights went out, then the signal died, and suddenly, millions were cut off from the world. Phones went silent, messages failed to send, radios hissed with nothing but static. Families couldn't reach each other, rescue teams couldn't coordinate. Entire towns disappeared not underwater, but into isolation. At night, the darkness was absolute. Only the roar of water and the pounding of rain filled the air. In that silence, fear grew heavier, because when no one can hear you, hope begins to fade. The flood took more than homes and roads. It took connection, and without it, they came in boats, rafts, and helicopters, through flooded streets and collapsing neighborhoods, in search for life. Children were lifted from rooftops, the elderly carried ice cold water, pets wrapped in blankets, passed from hand to hand. Every second mattered. The current was strong, the rain relentless. One wrong move could be losing both the rescuer and victim. Still, they pushed forward. Firefighters, soldiers, volunteers, faces soaked, hands numb, hearts pounding. Every shout answered, every hand pulled from the water, each rescue a victory against impossible odds. In the middle of destruction, courage kept moving one life, one breath, one moment at a time. The flood did more than break concrete. It broke the system meant to protect lives. Warnings were late, evacuation orders unclear, critical infrastructure left to age without proper maintenance. Locals had raised concerns about cracks in the dam, about clogged drainage, about bridges that shook in heavy rain, but their voices were buried under bureaucracy. When the disaster struck, it wasn't just nature that failed, it was preparation. Now, as the waters recede, anger rises. Who knew? Who ignored the signs, and how many lives were lost because action came too late? These questions can't be drowned. Not this time. When the water finally blew back, it revealed a wasteland. Homes reduced to splintered frames, schools stripped bare, fields buried in mud, crops rotting under the sun, families crowded into temporary shelters, clutching what little they had left. Volunteers handed out food, water, and blankets.
The flooding has caused
small comfort in a sea of loss. Rebuilding would take months, years, roads still broken, power unstable, supplies running thin. But the hardest work wasn't laying bricks. It was restoring trust. Trust that safety could be rebuilt, that the same mistakes wouldn't happen again. Because without that, every dark cloud on the horizon will feel like the beginning of another disaster. This disaster will not be the last. The rivers will swell again. The storms will return. The ground will shake and shift. The question is, will we be ready? Preparation cannot start after the siren sound. It must start now. Stronger dams, reinforced bridges, clear evacuation plans that everyone knows by heart. Nature doesn't negotiate, it doesn't forgive delay. If we fail again, the cost won't just be in property, it will be in lives. The next storm is already building somewhere beyond the horizon, and when it comes, the choice will be simple: stand ready or be swept away.